Good morning and welcome to Cooley Off-Road. I am your host, Brandon Scott, and with me as normal is Nash.
Hello.
And today on this 3rd of July Saturday, we are out in the Mountain Baker Snoqualmie National Forest just outside of the Stephen M. Jackson Wilderness area, and we're going to go do some waterfall hunting and some waterfall scouting out. Our first stop is North Fork Falls on the North Fork Sauk River. Enjoy. So for today's adventure up the North Fork Sauk River, the only book I'm really going to be using is a 100 Hikes book. Shocker. This one is Washington's Glacier Peak region, the North Cascades, because the North Fork Sauk River is one of the rivers that either drains directly off of or ridgelines adjacent to Glacier Peak. So we're obviously going to be in the Glacier Peak area. Now there are going to be a couple trails I am actually going to try and go up. One of them being Sloan Creek Meadows Trail, which is right there, Sloan Peak Meadows Trail number 22. There may or may not be any video recording of that one because it has a habit of washing out in the floodplain, and there's no real bridge to cross the river. So if we get to the river and we can't find a natural log bridge to cross, we're not going to be able to cross it, and I'm probably just going to be frustrated and not put any of the video in. So we're going to go see the trail, but if you don't see any video of the trail, it's because it's not crossable. And then the other one we are going to be going up, it's going to be part of the Bald Eagle Loop number 24. The first couple of mile section, there's supposed to be a couple of waterfalls along the trail, and then a couple of good views of waterfall on the big waterfalls on the other side of the valley, which is probably going to upset me because it's going to make me realize the trail's on the wrong side of the valley and you can't access those waterfalls without a long bushwhack. But yeah, this is the book we'll be using for today's adventure, 100 Hikes in Washington's Glacier Peak region of the North Cascades. Alright, so we're coming down the short, little bit steep but sweet trail, and you may hear some thundering in the background because that's where we're heading. That's a lot of flipping water, sunshine. It's a whole hell of a lot of water. Oh yeah, that'll do, pig. That'll do. Would not be a very good time to fall off the trail.
Yeah.
That's kind of silly. Ugh. What does this look like on the camera? Woo. Minor adjustments. Yeah. I'm coming that way, I'm just getting a shot. Is that about as far as we go?
Yep.
Alright. That'll definitely do.
I'll do it.
Sham freaking wow. Don't know about you, but I'm getting a couple pictures.
Oh yeah.
How.
Just go down there.
Yeah, I mean,
Trees are asphalt. I mean, yeah, there's a trail.
there's a trail-ish, but I think it's too early in the summer to attempt to get down there anyway.
Yeah.
God damn sunshine.
off the mist. I think so too. I kind of lied. We did come down to the base. Now we're getting misted to death, and oh wow, that camera quality went to crap. Let's attempt to fix that. Cold. Oh, that's better. Cold. With the sun. Cold, wet. Lots of mist. Cold, wet. Now you can really see the power of one of these waterfalls that takes control of a whole river before the camera lens misses out again. Just look at all that freaking mist action going on over there that the sun helps out with. Hold on, I gotta wipe the camera lens off again. Big shot. Yep. That's definitely one that'll work. Well, we're now on a hiking trail. All of our other waterfall opportunities that we tried out today skunked out, so there's no real footage of any of that because nothing much happened. So now we're walking along the Bald Eagle Trail. Gonna hopefully go see some smattering of little trailside waterfalls and hopefully scope out an accessible point or two to some off-trail waterfalls. We're also going to go garnet hunting in this area, but the creeks are too high and there's no way to really get too much of it unless we were to find an outcrop, which in early July like this, when everything is still full, thick and green, it's going to be a pain in the butt. So now we're pretty much just going on a hike. I'm gonna go see what opportunity arises for us. Hopefully something. Good thing is it looks like we finally transitioned out of the Mount Stewart Basilisk into the Chewacum schist, because I'm seeing a bunch of schist-like rocks underfoot in the trail, and that's where the garnet's going to be hiding. So we might be able to do some picking of some sort. But of course we left our rock hammers back in Rex because we looked at the creek and the creeks are all full, so we didn't think there'd be any real opportunity to get some stuff because so much vegetation and so much water, it's hard to find open rock. But we'll see what we can find. Alright, there's the first of three. They're not supposed to be very big or very high volume, but I mean, they're right here along the trail, so let's go check it out real quick. Brave the clouds of mosquitoes, because our bug spray is not working worth a damn. And it's pissing us both off. So we'll see how much longer we last in this garbage. But the reason these 3 waterfalls have this cute little perfect stair step look to them is because we've gone from a volcanic rock, granites and tonalites and such, to what was a sedimentary rock and has now been metamorphosed into a metamorphic rock called schist. So you get these planes and beddings and foliations in them, and that's how you get this classic stair step pattern. Same basic idea if you go to, say, Glacier National Park. Most of their waterfalls look like this because they're either in metamorphosed rocks of sedimentary rocks, or they still are falling over sedimentary rocks that have never been metamorphosed. So you're still going to get this bedded or foliated pattern. But yeah, so this is the first of 3, and this one is called Bottleneck Falls, because as you can tell, it's really nice and skinny at the top, and then I guess when it's first melting out, which means we still didn't get here early enough, we would have been here probably when there was still a little bit of snow on the ground. This elevation, it would have been a lot larger, and you can see that shelf right about there-ish, 2/3 of the way up. There's a big shelf that I'm sure most of the water hits and then fans out. But it doesn't look very big until you get Nash in there for scale, if you get out of the way of the cottonwood. So there's Nash for scale, his 5-foot self. So it's probably a good 50 or 60 foot drop. Not a lot of volume, but it's supposed to last all year because someone else came and saw this in, I think, August or September, and this was about the same amount of flow it had. So this is 1 down, 2 more to go. All right, as you can tell by first glance, this creek seems to be a little more energetic. This is Bald Eagle Falls. It's a wee bit bigger. This is easily 100 foot in 2 different steps. So we're gonna go, we're gonna get a little closer. See if we can find a spot to sit down and hang out for a bit. But all this is blowout from avalanching each year, so pretty good access. The only downside is pretty good access means there's not much to sit on and not much shade in the middle of the day. There's also not much structure to walk on. Keep yourself from getting wet if you don't want to get wet.
We had our toe shoes.
Yeah, if we had our toe shoes, it'd be fine. But you know, we got about 20 minutes away from Rex, went, oh, we forgot something, didn't we?
We need to maybe climb that.
Oh yeah, if we had our toe shoes, we could get up to that secondary spot. But
like, maybe we can try and traverse the side.
it's probably gonna be too steep.
Probably.
So yeah, it has not been exactly the greatest day for us. We thought we had good planning. Turns out we didn't have the greatest planning.
This makes up for it though.
It's alright.
It's alright.
The fact that we're also getting eaten alive by mosquitoes is also pissing us both off pretty well. But yeah, we're in the shade right now, and probably scrape that rock off and be a decent perch.
Yeah.
Maybe stack a couple more rocks about that size on together and make a decent perch. And I'll probably set up the tripod and one of the phones with the GoPro and take a long exposure this while we hang out here. So there's a decent breeze coming down through the gorge, so at the moment the bugs are at bay and it's hot and we're in the shade, so I think we might gonna hang out for a bit. Nash is looking at rocks for once. Found himself a nice big old piece of mica. That's a pretty waterfall though. Well, here's the last of the 3. This one's called Weeping Wall. Should be fairly obvious why it's called Weeping Wall, as it's a nice big flat slab that it's falling across.
It's so sad.
Ignore him. I have to bring him along for bear purposes. Not allowed to go hiking alone. But yeah, this one's a nice pretty one. It's all in shadows now, so it's a lot easier to look at. A little bit of sun glare, but I'm trying to avoid that. But yeah, I think this is how we're gonna end the day. We might go back and hang out at Bald Eagle a bit longer. And then we might go for a swim in the Sauk River downstream a ways, but this is it for the day. Didn't get everything I thought we were going to get to, but I think we've got some decent plans for some other time now that we've actually laid eyeballs on objects and we can formulate a plan on how we're going to do things. So that right there is one of about a dozen waterfalls on the other side of the valley. Doesn't look like much from here, but that one drop is like 100 foot. And then you can't see, but right below it there, and then down further more are 2 more drops, and then there's more drops at the head of the valley where there's a glacier. And those are all to be continued. That was part of the reason why we came out here, is to see what the waterfalls look like and how feasible it may or may not be to get to them. And each of these creeks are going to be like an all-day adventure, because it's going to be, we're going to have to do this hike along this trail because the trail's on the wrong side of the canyon. So we have to do this couple of mile hike up this trail, which takes about an hour and a half each way, and then bail off trail for a couple more miles, and that's going to take most of the rest of the day. Now I know somebody else has been to the waterfall dumping straight out of the glacier at the head of the canyon, so I know that's feasible. That's going to be an all-day trip in itself, and then that's also going to be an all-day trip in itself. And there's another stream down there with more, so it's going to be, that's future dreams to be continued.
And that'll do it for today's adventure up the North Fork Sauk River in the Stephen Jackson Wilderness. Started off as an A+ day, standing next to that monstrous torrent of a waterfall in the North Fork Sauk River, but it kind of turned into like a C+ day after getting skunked out on so many supposed ideas and then the bugs. There was tons of mosquitoes. Like, it was clouds of this stuff. But it also gives us a good idea of what we need to plan for all those long backcountry hikes to get into those other waterfalls on the other side of the valley and in the rest of the valley and then adjacent ridgelines. So thanks for tagging along. Please give a like and or subscribe below and share it on your favorite social media. Have a good afternoon and ciao.